Jai Gurudev. Good. Meditation was good. So we did till page 290, but I just covered half of just one paragraph on that page. So we'll start again. So can somebody just read it once?
Vasistha continued. Delighted by this self-discovery, the queen exclaimed, "At last I have attained that which is to be attained. No, now there is no loss. Even the mind and the senses are but the reflections of consciousness. Though they are unreal, independently of consciousness, this supreme consciousness alone exists. It is the supreme truth, untainted by any impurity, forever in a state of perfect equilibrium and devoid of ego sense. Once this truth is realized, it shines constantly without setting. It is this consciousness that is known by various names: Brahman, Supreme Self, etc. In it, there is no division into subject, object, and the relationship. No knowledge. Consciousness becomes conscious of its own consciousness. It cannot be realized otherwise, as an object of consciousness. It is this consciousness alone that is manifest as the mind, intellect, and the senses. This world appearance too is but consciousness, apart from which nothing is. Consciousness does not undergo any change. The only apparent change is the illusory appearance, which is the illusory and therefore not real. In an imaginary ocean, imaginary waves arise. The mind stuff itself is the ocean, and the waves are of the mind stuff too. Even so, the world appearance arises in consciousness and is therefore non-different from it. I am pure consciousness, devoid of ego sense and all-pervading. There is neither birth nor death for this consciousness. It is not subject to destruction, for it is like space. It cannot be cut or burned. It is pure light of consciousness without defect. I am free from all delusion. I am at peace. All these gods, demons, and numerous beings are essentially unmade, for they are non-different from the consciousness. The appearance is illusion, even as the soldiers made of clay are clay, not soldiers. The seer, subject, and the seen, object, are in reality the one pure consciousness. How has this delusion, which gives rise to the concepts like this is oneness and there is duality, come into being? In whom does that delusion exist? Who is it? I rest in nirvana, liberation, or enlightenment, without the least mental agitation, having realized that all that is, whether sentient or insentient, pure consciousness. There is no this or I or the other. There is no being or non-being. All this is peace. Having thus realized, Udala rested in supreme peace.
Delighted by this self-discovery, the queen exclaimed, "At last I have attained that which is to be attained or known." So this sentence itself, the first sentence itself, means that everything besides enlightenment is not worthy of attainment. Whether it is name, fame, money, relationships, power, whatever, it is not worthy of attainment. And that which is really worthy of attainment, that is what now the queen has attained. Now there is no loss. even the mind and the senses are but the reflections of consciousness, though they are unreal independently of consciousness. If I run behind money, where does this feverishness to attain that money begin? In either the sense of sight, by seeing a rich person, seeing a mansion, seeing, whatever, beautiful cars, diamonds, whatever, seeing some object creates a desire within you. So the senses is the trigger point, either the eyes or you hear, oh, this person has that much or that person has reached there. So it is again sense of sound. So senses are basically the triggering factor for me to go out into the world and run behind something that I think is worthy of attainment. And obviously, anything of this world is temporary. It's not going to last forever. So which means it will come and it will go. There will be loss. Correct? So when you attain that which is really worthy of attainment, there is no loss. Got it? Because it has got nothing to do with your senses and it's got nothing to do with this material world. That's why she exclaims, now there is no loss. The next sentence is in line with this. Even the mind and the senses are but the reflections of consciousness, though they are unreal independently of consciousness. Means the sense of sight that actually triggered that thirst to obtain that mansion or that money in me. But really, if I go to see, oh, these senses are also consciousness and that money is also consciousness and I am also consciousness. What am I doing? It's silly. A drop of water in the ocean is going to look for water. Doesn't that sound stupid? That's really what we are doing. We are behaving stupid, running behind material objects. Thinking that attaining something material is going to make me rich or happy or give me a status or class. Nonsense. All mind stuff. The wise one is the one who recognizes all this is just the consciousness. The same consciousness appears like that car that I want to attain, or that name or fame or that position in the company that I want to achieve. All this is just the play and display of the same consciousness. There is no difference. This supreme consciousness alone exists. It is the supreme truth, untainted by any impurity, forever in a state of perfect equilibrium and devoid of ego sense. Why she has mentioned devoid of ego sense? Because understand, anywhere that your sense gets stuck onto or holds onto, whether it is a relationship with a person, whether it is a thing like your laptop or phone, or whether it is a situation you are hankering for or running away from. Whatever your mind really hooks onto, it is because of I. So the ego is closely related to any sense. But consciousness is devoid of this I, is devoid of this impurity. So you check Are you still living life running behind whatever your ego says? I want this, I want that, I want to achieve this. Or have you started living life spontaneously? Okay, whatever comes my way, I just move with it. There is no I here. It's the river of karma flowing, and it is propelling this Prakriti in that direction. So this Prakriti is moving. I am not wanting to go in that direction. At the same time, I am not wanting it either. Is there want and not want still there in you? Check. Homework number 1. Once this truth is realized, it shines constantly without setting. It's a very beautiful sentence. It's like you are asking me, I am dreaming. I'm dreaming that I have a husband, I have a child, I have a family, I'm attached to this, I'm attached to that, and I'm attached to this, now I'm attached to that. You're telling me these 10, 15, 20, 100 items you're really attached to. And then you're asking me that now I have to wake up from this dream and 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 this dream. No. You have to just wake up. All these 10, 20, 50, 100 items that you enumerated, all will get shattered in the same moment. Just one moment of waking up. Yeah? It's not that you have to make an effort to get over this attachment and that attachment and that attachment. That's how people see spiritual effort as, or purushartha as, that I have to get over my attachments one by one, individually. It does not work. Yeah? That is where people never really get there. Yeah? You have to snap that one thing that is making you unconscious or keeping you under the influence of Maya. Yeah? It is that feverishness to want or not want. There is just that one thing. Once you give that little feverishness up, you're done. You've woken up. Then everything will fall off. All these 10, 20, 100 things that you're counting on your fingers, you're attached to, all in one go. You just have to wake up once for all the dreams to go. But our understanding is so poor. Yeah? In fact, we have this thirst of wanting this, wanting that. We don't want to let it go. We say, oh, I want wife also, I want money also, I want child also, and I want spiritual growth also. We've made spiritual growth or enlightenment another feverishness, another object to attain. That is why the problem arises. The day you drop this samsara, automatically that is equal to enlightenment. Got it? You cannot have both. You cannot say that I want to dream also and I want to be awake also. It's not possible. This is the most bitter pill to swallow on this path. Those who begin on the path think that because she says that, I can manage this with my world and being here in samsara without abandoning my family. That means, she means that I can keep the feverishness to run behind desires also, and I can in fact add another feverishness to run behind a spiritual attainment. This is where you've not heard me or any guru correctly. dropping desires is the bottom line. There is no other truth. There is no other option. Yeah? And that's what she means in the last line of that paragraph. Once this truth is realized, it shines constantly without setting. The day the desires drop, you wake up instantly. The moment you wake up instantly, it's consciousness. You are awake. You are there. You have attained it. Then there is no going back. It is this consciousness that is known by various names: Brahman, Supreme Self, etc. In it, there is no division into subject-object and their relationship, that is knowledge. Yeah? Just like in this space, there is nothing like Chicago space and that space is Cincinnati space. Doesn't make sense. Space is space. Yeah? You cannot divide space like that. Only you cannot divide consciousness. Yeah? The same consciousness, when it is very condensed and vibrates at a very close level, it is an object like the wall. When it vibrates far away from each other, it is like the air. It is the same consciousness. The same consciousness has two forms. That form, which is a combination of earth, water, fire, air, within the space element, which is called matter. And the same consciousness is the energy form which runs this matter. There is no difference between the two. It is all the same. Just like ice, water, and water vapor are all the same. They just apparently seem to be different, but actually they are not. Right? Anybody who has done a little bit of science will say there is no difference. Yeah? It's 2 units of hydrogen and 1 unit of oxygen. That's all it is. It doesn't matter how it appears to you. Correct? Just like that. Consciousness, whether it appears as a non-living object or a living being or an animal or a plant or this air which is absolutely invisible, or the space in which all this exists. Everything is just one. And that formula of that is consciousness or Brahman. Yeah. Consciousness becomes conscious of its own consciousness. It cannot be realized otherwise as an object of consciousness. Yeah, this is a continuation from last week. Yeah, last week we discussed about how consciousness has forgotten about itself. It has worn a costume. Yeah, that costume is of matter and has gone to sleep. And now it feels that I am this matter. Yeah? What happens on the spiritual path? Consciousness wakes up and realizes, oh, I am matter, but I am more than that. And that waking up is nothing but consciousness recognizing its own self. Got it? So the object of consciousness is consciousness itself. Yeah? So that is why consciousness becomes conscious of its own consciousness. Got it? It cannot be realized otherwise. It is this consciousness alone that is manifest as the mind, intellect, and the senses. This world appearance too is but consciousness. apart from which nothing is. Consciousness does not undergo any change. The only apparent change is the illusory appearance, which is illusory and therefore not real. Yeah? So just like water vapor and ice, yeah? This is just apparent to me. In the laboratory, when I go down to really what its chemical constituents are, it is just 2 units of hydrogen and 1 unit of oxygen, the end. Yeah? Just like that. Consciousness is just in different illusionary forms around me. These are all just illusions. In its basic formula, it is just consciousness. In an imaginary ocean, imaginary waves arise. The mind stuff itself is the ocean, and the waves are of the mind stuff too. Even so, the world appearance arises in consciousness and is therefore non-different from it. It's the same repetition of the same thing. I am pure consciousness, devoid of ego sense and all-pervading. There is neither birth nor death for this consciousness. It is not subject to destruction, for it is like space. It cannot be cut or burned. It is pure light of consciousness without defect. This is very close to the Bhagavad Gita shloka that we've done. Yeah? That it cannot be cut, it cannot be burned. Yeah, because it is like space. What can you do to space? Yeah, space is the closest thing or object or aspect of this creation that you can, understand. There is nothing else that you can understand as invisible and as indivisible as space. That is why they keep comparing consciousness to space. It cannot be burnt, it cannot be cut. There is no ego sense in it. There is no duality in it. If duality has appeared, it is the mind stuff. I, that Jiva, came out of that pool of consciousness and had a desire to see something, and that manifested. Because I am that potent, I have that power. Yeah? That is where whatever you desire comes to you. Whatever it is, it's not possible that it will not come. Yeah, it takes its time. You may desire in this lifetime, it may come in the next lifetime. It may come in a different form than what you were really wanting it to be, but it definitely comes. So understand that whatever is just mind stuff. I am free from all delusion. I am at peace. All these gods, demons, and numerous beings are essentially unmade, for they are non-different from the consciousness. The appearance is illusory, even as soldiers made of clay are clay, not soldiers. Yeah? This is very important. Everything, gods, demons, all of them are a part of this universe. No? Though you may still wonder and still think, how can there be another energy in this room? Yeah? But there is. And you're not sitting there all alone, even though you think you are. Yeah? And they're all a part of this existence. They're all a part of this particular physical reality of ours. They are also mind-made. They are also jivas that came out of the consciousness and desire to be that kind of an energy. a higher kind of energy. So that's what they are. We probably, as humans, had lower kind of wishes, material wishes, yeah, more earth-related wishes, cravings and desires. That is why we were born in the material sphere. Gods and demons and all these energies had little different kind of aspirations. They also had their ragas and dveshas, but not so much material or earth related, a little more power related, higher than just little bit of desires of money and wife and child. A little higher, a little more powerful, but that also has stemmed from the same greed, the same raga dosha, the same mind stuff. That is why even they are illusory. The seer, which is the subject, and the seen, which is the object, are in reality the one pure consciousness. How has this delusion, which gives rise to concepts like this is oneness and there is duality, come into being? In whom does that delusion exist? Whose is it? Isn't that amazing? When we are all just one pool of consciousness, and there is no I, no you, no subject, no object, still in that one single pool of consciousness, there is a delusion that arises. And somebody from that, or one wave from that pool of consciousness holds on to that delusion. It's so amazing. And out you come from that. Delusion gives rise to more delusion, and delusion gives rise to more delusion, and the chain continues. I rest in nirvana, that is liberation or enlightenment, without the least mental agitation, having realized that all that is pure consciousness, whether it is sentient or insentient. Sentient means that which I can perceive through my five senses. I can touch, taste, smell, see or hear. Insentient, which probably exists in this room, but through my five senses I cannot perceive that energy. But it is there. Yeah? It is very well existent right here. There is no this or I or the other. There is no being or non-being. All this is peace. Having thus realized, Kudala rested in supreme peace. We'll give you an exercise, homework. Tomorrow morning, on your way to work, now you'll anyway go to sleep, it's late in the night. Tomorrow morning when you get up, go to work, you're driving, everything, every little tree you look at, every person walking on the street, everything that, all the buildings, whatever come on your way, look at everything and see this is the consciousness, this is also consciousness, this is also consciousness, this is also consciousness. This body is also consciousness, this car is also consciousness. The consciousness is driving the consciousness. When you reach office, oh, this is also consciousness. Your boss comes and screams at you, shouts at you for not doing something. This is also consciousness. Throughout the day, remind yourself, this is also the consciousness. This is also Brahman. This is also the self. Everything I see around me is a reflection of my own mind. I have attracted it into my life. Yeah? It's like a mirror looking at itself in a mirror. That's what I am. Yeah? And I have confused myself because everything reflects here, everything reflects. So I am confused because of the reflections. There are multiple reflections moving in all directions and confusing the crap out of me, thinking, oh, there is duality. But there is no duality. There is no duality. Everything is a reflection of just I. I am that mirror. I am reflecting everything and everything is reflecting back into me. I have just confused myself. Do this exercise sincerely tomorrow. Full day. It doesn't matter how good or bad the day is. Don't worry about that. Just focus on reminding yourself. It may seem very artificial. I don't believe it. How can it be? Doesn't matter. Observe that the mind that is cribbing is also consciousness. Let it crib. Let it say, weird, it's weird, it's weird, it's awkward. It's okay. This is also consciousness. See what comes out of it at the end of the day. You keep observing your mind throughout the day. Just one day's homework. Yeah? Just one day's homework. If you forget tomorrow, do it day after. Just one day you do it throughout this week, any day you pick. Constant reminder, a mechanical reminder. Yeah? Somewhere we have to start. No? So if you've not really started recognizing the consciousness, let me start mechanically. No problem. Yeah? You have to move your car out of the garage. Yeah? This will jumpstart it. It's not starting on its own. You jumpstart it. It's artificial. Let's see if the battery gets charged. Yeah? Why? Because it's just a memory that has to come back. Yeah? Suppose you've forgotten something. Yeah? And somebody in your family just keeps giving you hints, but doesn't tell you exactly what you've forgotten. Happen? Lots of husbands and wives do that to each other. You just keep giving hints. You don't directly tell the person. Yeah? And suddenly it comes back. Yeah? We have just lost that memory that I am the consciousness and everything is consciousness. This exercise is like that artificial hinting. Yeah? It's like that jump start. It's like pushing that car. You never know. If the battery is good enough and not dead, the car might start. You might remember, oh, I am the consciousness. That's all that is required. Satori can happen in one moment. It's not a lifetime of an effort. Waking up is just one moment's work or job to just open your eyes. And you don't know what might be that trigger. And that last push. Yeah, so do this homework. And maybe you experience what Udala is experiencing. Some of you have already started experiencing the signs that automatically happen when you are progressing on this path. Yeah? So now let's read what are those signs. We will just read the first 3 paragraphs of what Vasistha is talking on page 291. Who's going to read?
Vasistha continued. Day by day the queen grew more and more introverted, rejoicing more and more in the bliss of the self. She was utterly free from craving and from attachment. Without abandoning anything and without seeking anything, she was natural in her behavior and spontaneous in her actions. All her doubts were addressed. She had crossed the ocean of becoming. She rested in an incomparable state of peace. Thus, within a very short time, she had reached the realization that this fourth appearance will also disappear in the same way in which it came into being. She shone radiant in the light of self-knowledge. Seeing her thus radiant and peaceful, Seketwaja asked her, you appear to have regained your youthfulness and you shine with an extraordinary radiance, my beloved. You are not distracted by anything at all and you have no craving, yet you're full of bliss. Tell me, is it that you have quaffed the nectar of the gods? Surely you have attained something which is extremely difficult to attain.
So, you check whether you have developed any of these signs. Okay, these signs happen even before you reach that state. So, if any of these signs have started happening, good job. Day by day, the queen grew more and more introverted. This we have discussed n number of times. It's not out of disgust or hatred. There's no negativity there. It's not because of wanting to run away from the world, but it is a natural disinterest or dispassion that happens to you. Things that used to interest her don't interest her anymore. So homework number 3 for you. Are you experiencing anything like that? It also happens as a natural maturity. Oh, the way I used to run behind money, I'm not so much into it. Or the way I used to run behind playing whatever you do, whatever sports you were crazy about. Now it's okay, big deal. India wins, Pakistan wins, doesn't matter. But if still that thing is there, then it's not gone. Recognize that there's a disinterest in the same things that 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago, the same body-mind complex was really drowned in. And it could be anything, name, fame, money, power, politics, simple interests like sports, reading, whatever. The natural distaste happens towards the feverishness of this world. Many people, you will notice, are going off Facebook, dropping out of Twitter or Instagram. Not because they hate anybody, but they just started recognizing how futile it is to spend hours and hours on Facebook doing nothing, staring at other people's profiles, and at the end of the day saying, oh, I didn't get any work done. So a natural disinterest developing is the first sign on this path. 2. Rejoicing more and more in the bliss of the self, basically solitude. You start enjoying your own company very much. And the second part of this is you are not afraid of loneliness. People who are afraid of loneliness cannot attain this state. It is not possible. And that fear of loneliness totally leaves you. You in fact prefer solitude. You feel that, oh, my mind feels so full and intact and complete when I'm just with myself. But the moment I am in contact with another person, I feel the duality. I feel my mind is all scattered. I don't feel that concentration, that focus, that harmony. My harmony gets disturbed. Why? Because you have become so sensitive, being on the path in spirituality, that even a little ripple in somebody else's mind can be gauged by you. And like that, there are hundreds of people you meet in the day, and if you socialize a lot, so how many ripples, that kind of affects your frequency. And you prefer to close out of all the unwanted frequencies. They're really unwanted now. Running after this, running after that just seems like a waste of time. So these both feed into each other if you've realized. Wanting solitude and becoming introvert kind of thing. Or disinterest in people, situations and things that were feverishly engulfing you before. She was utterly free from craving and from attachment. How? Without abandoning anything and without seeking anything, she was natural in her behavior and spontaneous in her actions. This is the way to be free from craving. Yeah? Whatever life brings my way, I just flow spontaneously with that. You say do this, okay, let's do this. You say let's do that, let's do that. There is no no in the mind and there is no yes in the mind. This no, yes, no, yes. This creates another automatic ball, that snowball effect starts. Yeah, and like that you have million snowball effects because of your desire. And all these desires just create disharmony. Wise one recognizes that the disharmony is not because of others. The disharmony is not because of the world. Oh, it is because of my desiring mind. My mind desires because of him or her or it or that. Oh, I cannot change him, her, it, that. I cannot change this world. But where can I begin my progress? Here. Got it? So naturally, it's a very natural instinct to want to come to this harmony. And you will do anything the moment you realize that this harmony is being disturbed by my desires. Oh, it's in my hands. This is even easier. If it was in his or her or it or that or external influences hands, I could have never ever achieved harmony. But now I recognize it is in my hands. Oh, this is so easy. This is like a piece of cake. So all I need to do is find that center point in me. And that point is right within me. It's not outside. Inside me only there is that center. I just find that center and stick to it. And not move an inch this side or that side. I will just be with reality as it is. As life flows, I will flow with life. But I will keep my center. The moment I leave this center, I say I want, but I don't want. This takes away my center. I have to be in the center. So whatever life brings, okay, great. Happiness has come, good, be with it. Sadness has come, good, be with it. When there's happiness, I will not say I want, because again I will tilt away from that harmonious center. And in sadness, I will not say, oh, I don't want. Got it? Maintaining that central point is that which will help you flow spontaneously. You have to maintain, it's like maintaining your center of gravity. If you maintain your center of gravity, you're standing exactly in the center of the body. You have equal weight on both right and left. Yeah? Neither is my weight more tilted to want, nor is my weight more tilted to not want. I am in the center. Yeah? Maintaining that center of gravity, I get that flow. I can just move in that flow. Be natural. Whatever life brings, I welcome it. I embrace it with both my arms. Whatever you give is prasad. Even if it is problems, even if it is disease, even if it is financial problems, work problems, family problems, whatever, it is your prasad. No saying yes, no saying no. No agitation in the mind, no feverishness in the mind. What is okay, got it? Then only can you become devoid of attachment. Otherwise, there is no way. That is why it is very clearly underlined there. Without abandoning anything. Many people feel, oh, I have to abandon this thing that I crave for. Oh, I crave for money, or I crave for job, or that career, or crave for whatever. Then I should abandon it. No use. You abandon it, it'll keep haunting you in your mind. And it'll keep coming back to you in your dreams. So abandoning does not work. Yeah? Just don't be feverish about attaining it. If it comes, it comes. Yeah? At the same time, without seeking anything. Perfect balance, huh? You don't abandon it and you don't seek for it also. Yeah? You cut the feverishness in the mind. That's the main thing. Cut off that feverishness. And that feverishness is like a vicious thing which keeps growing. You cut it off, it keeps growing. You cut it off, it keeps growing. Can you give me an example that keeps growing even after you cut it off?
Lizard's tail.
What?
A lizard.
A lizard's tail. Okay, yeah. It is a lizard's tail. You cut it off, it keeps growing back. Yeah. So it's like that. You just see your desire, your craving. Yeah? Homework number 5. Which is your lizard's tail? Which keeps growing back? You have it. Hair, okay, hair. You keep cutting it, it keeps growing back. Huh? Every month $10 going to the barber. Same barber. Yeah. What is it in your life that is this lizard's tail?
So, I just want to clarify one thing that I think we've had in previous discussions. Like, thoughts might still come, right? Like, the random thoughts that will come. But it's that energy behind it that you give, like, oh, this thought came of maybe a dress or something, and you, I want, and that's the feverishness. It's like thoughts will come, but you're indifferent to it. If
Absolutely.
it happens, it happens. Doesn't happen, doesn't matter.
Yes.
Right? So,
absolutely. So, I'm going to teach you this. There's a difference between a thought and an impulsion. A thought is just noise. Yeah. You don't turn around to every noise. Especially in India, there's so much noise all around. You don't keep turning at every noise. Right? Only one specific sound that you really want to, interact with, you have an impulsion to talk, have a dialogue, or react to that. Got it? So every thought should not be encouraged. Got it? Have an impulsion in the correct direction. And the correct direction is just the direction of the flow. Yeah? Not towards a craving, not towards an aversion. Yeah? Life has brought this reality today in front of me. I am going to go with this. That is the impulsion you should have. Clear? If you really have to have that thought of wanting to move in some direction, just move with the center. I cannot compromise on my harmony for anything. Not even for that beautiful red dress, or those shoes, or whatever. That car, that $1 million house. It's not worth my peace of mind. The day you really give the highest priority to your own spiritual progress, then you will overcome Maya like this. But till the time your spiritual progress is second position, third position, fourth position, and that's what will come in life. And she was natural in her behavior and spontaneous in her actions. Got it? Once you are going with the flow, you will be very spontaneous. Whatever is required of this moment, I act. Very natural it is. And there are no rehearsals in life, really. Life happens just once. And every moment comes to you just once. There are no takes in life. You have to do it right in the first take. If you want to do everything right in the first take, the only formula is be natural, be spontaneous. Otherwise you'll keep doing take 1, take 2, take 3, take 4 and take infinity with infinite number of lifetimes. So recognize this. Thus, within a very short time, she had reached the realization that this world appearance will also disappear in the same way in which it came into being. This realization is very important. Until now, for you, it is like I have read from Vasistha. Vasistha says everything comes into being and everything will dissolve. So till now it is all intellectual. When you really go deeper into the dhyanas or the meditation, you reach a state where you recognize that everything really that comes also goes. Nothing is really permanent. Just like that, this body also is not permanent. When this becomes more and more clear, your meditation becomes more and more deeper. And the deeper you go into your meditations, you recognize, oh, this body is temporary. And some time ago, this body was not there, but I was in the form of another body. In your meditations, you will be able to experience your past births. And it happens like a flash, an instant flash. You actually experience it more than see it. It's not like seeing a movie. It's like experiencing a very old memory. Got it? Take your mind back to when you were 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, whatever your earliest memory is. You know it happened, right? There's no doubt about it. Just like that. It's just an old memory. And it's not from this lifetime. So you understand that, oh, this is temporary. Everything is changing. Even the body changes, even the mind keeps changing. And you reach that realization that this world appearance will also disappear. You see your past and you see the future as well. She shone radiant in the light of self-knowledge. Okay, I missed one sentence in the previous paragraph. All her doubts were at rest. She had crossed the ocean of becoming. She rested in an incomparable state of peace. Now we have spoken about this incomparable state of peace. That state of harmony we spoke about 3-4 weeks ago. That state in the center, the middle. Always being able to stay in that state of harmony. It's a constant state of awareness. It's a constant state of peace. It's called the fourth state. And that peace is incomparable to any peace that you have experienced from any of the material pleasures of the world. Now I'll go to the third paragraph. Seeing her thus radiant and peaceful, Sikhidwaja asked her, "You appear to have regained your youthfulness and you shine with an extraordinary radiance, my beloved. You are not distracted by anything at all." This is very important. Huh? You are not distracted by anything at all. So, somebody who's close to you can observe this change in you. That initially you were distracted by money or by fame, by name, you wanted it or you craved for it. But today, when the same topics of money, name, fame come up, today it doesn't move you from the center. Yeah. So, homework number 5. Has this started happening to you? Has somebody who's close to you, a friend, a relative, noticed a change in you in any way? And you have no craving. This is amazing. Yet you are full of bliss. Tell me, is it that you have quaffed the nectar of the gods? Surely you have attained something which is extremely difficult to attain. Let's read what Kudala replied.
Kudala replied, "I've abandoned this emptiness which has assumed some sort of a form. I remain rooted in that which is truth, not in the appearance. Hence, I'm radiant. I've abandoned all these and I have resorted to something other than these, which is both real and unreal. Hence, I'm radiant. That is something and that is also not something. I know that as it is. Hence, I'm radiant. I delight in the non-enjoyment of pleasures as if I have enjoyed them. I give way neither to joy nor to anger. Hence, I am radiant. I experience the greatest joy in remaining established in the reality that shines in my heart. I am not distracted by the royal pleasures. Hence, I am radiant. Even when I am in the pleasure gardens, I remain firmly established in the self, neither in the enjoyment of pleasure nor in the shyness, etc. Hence, I am radiant. I am the ruler of the universe. I am not the finite being. I delight in the self. Hence, I am radiant. This I am not. In truth, I am, nor am I. I am the all. I am not. Hence, I am radiant. I seek neither pleasure, nor wealth, nor poverty, nor any other form of existence. I am happy with whatever is obtained without effort. Hence, I am radiant. I sport with attenuated states of attraction and repulsion, with the insights gained through the scriptures. Hence, I am radiant. Whatever I see with these eyes and experience with these senses, whatever I behold through my mind, I see nothing but the one truth, which is seen clearly by me within myself.
I have abandoned this emptiness which has assumed some sort of a form. I remain rooted in that which is truth, not in the appearance. Yeah? Appearance means this world is an appearance. Yeah? And I remain established in the truth that is consciousness. Many people, they manipulate this little thing. Oh, everything is consciousness. No. Yeah. You say this table is consciousness, computer is consciousness, name, fame, money, wife, husband is all consciousness. So I can play with it. Yeah, so they manipulate the scriptures, they manipulate it. So that is also part of Maya. You are lost in Maya. You are not able to become stronger than the power of Maya. The one who is powerful recognizes, oh, all this is a game. And all this is meant to attract me, to pull me away from the center. Now I've become wise. Now let me see, can I be stronger than Maya and not get attracted or pulled from different sides? Can I just maintain my center? That is the meaning that she's saying, where she says, I'm established. Yeah? I remain rooted in that which is the truth. Got it? Not in the appearance. And the first part is, I have abandoned this emptiness which has assumed some sort of a form. Understood, no? It's the same consciousness which is emptiness, and that has assumed that form. So she's not getting stuck like people manipulate it and get stuck. Oh, this is also consciousness, let me play with it then. It's okay. Okay, then if you play with it, then you will have to pay the tax also for it. Yeah, Maya comes with a tax. It's never tax-free. Hence, I am radiant. I have abandoned all these and I have resorted to something other than these, which is both real and unreal. This is beautiful, huh? Somebody who has not understood the truth, but has just by-hearted the truth from the scripture, or has a make-belief of the truth because the master says so, or the teacher says so, will not understand this, that the truth is both real and unreal. Yeah, such a person will say, oh, Maya is unreal and truth is real. And that is it. But a person who has actually experienced it will say, oh, truth is both real and unreal. Yeah, that is the way to know. Is somebody really enlightened, or he's one of those dhongi babajis who's just trying to take some money from you? Yeah, now you know the formula. Vasistha gave it to you. Hence, I am radiant. That is something, and that is also not something. I know that as it is. Hence, I am radiant. Yeah? It is something and also not something. Means something as in the way I see matter. Yeah? Rupa. Yeah? And not something is arup, not matter. Yeah? In the form of energy, or in the form of this space or this air. Yeah? So which is something and not something. Both. I delight in the non-enjoyment of pleasures as if I have enjoyed them. I give way neither to joy nor to anger. Hence I am radiant. This is beautiful. She has attained that sambhava, that equanimous state. So neither in joy does her graph go up, and in depression or negativity, there is no anger. The graph does not go down. She maintains that harmonious, equanimous state. That is why she is radiant. I experience the greatest joy in remaining established in the reality that shines in my heart. I am not distracted by the royal pleasures. Hence I am radiant. Yeah? This I explained to you. Just being in the center. Not getting distracted by name, fame, money, beauty, whatever. Different arts also can really lure us, take us away from the center. Not getting lured away from that center. Being established in the truth, in the reality as it is. Even when I am in the pleasure gardens, I remain firmly established in the self, neither in the enjoyment of pleasure nor in shyness, etc. Hence, I am radiant. Here, pleasure gardens, you understand, right? The pleasures of the body. In the carnal pleasures, So she's not even abandoned her husband or the carnal pleasures. Yeah? There is no negativity as in abandoning, yeah, but also when she is with her husband, there is that centeredness. She's not carried away. So beautifully said. She's put it so beautifully. She remains firmly established in the self, even in the pleasure gardens. She doesn't get carried away by any pleasure nor shines. I am the ruler of the universe. I am not the finite being. I delight in the self. Hence, I am radiant. You understand the difference between finite and infinite? Yeah, finite means that which is limited. When I think I am this body, I actually kind of put myself down. I am that jiva, that individual consciousness that has the power equivalent to the Brahman consciousness. But the moment my mind limits this individual consciousness to just this body-mind complex, I lose my potency. My power is all gone. Yeah? So I have gone to one end. And if I think, oh, I am the most powerful in this universe and everybody is lower than me, then I go to the other end. So she's neither here nor there. She recognizes that infinity that she is a part of, and she remains established in the center, not tilting to this side, not tilting to that side. That's why she is radiant. This I am not. In truth, I am, nor am I. I am the all. I am not. Hence, I am radiant. That's a very nice riddle, no? You're simply getting stuck in I am this, I am not this. This is all a play of ego. Yeah? Ego says I. The moment you drop the I, yeah, there is no I. Yeah? So forget I am also and I am not also. Everything drops the moment I drops. I am the all. And there is no difference between me and that pool of consciousness. I am all. Yeah? At the same time, I am not. As in this ego which was I, it does not exist. Hence, I am radiant. I seek neither pleasure, nor wealth, nor poverty, nor any other form of existence. I am happy with whatever is obtained without effort. Hence, I am radiant. This is very important. Are you craving? I want to be rich, I want to be a millionaire, a billionaire. Is that craving there? Or have you gone to the other aspect where you say, oh, I don't want anything? When you say, I don't want anything, it is coming out of some kind of a negativity. Either you have misunderstood knowledge or you hate something outside in the world, in your job, in that career, whatever, office, boss, recognize it. Is there some kind of a bitterness out of which you're saying, I don't want it? Or is there a craving still? Both have taken you away from center. Come back to the center. Whatever will come my way, I accept that. Whatever doesn't come my way, I will not even think about it. Even if that thought comes, I will not let that thought become an impulsion. I will let that thought come and go. Have you reached this stage? Has this started happening to you? Homework number 5 and number 6. I spot with attenuated states of attraction and repulsion, with the insights gained through the scriptures. Hence, I am radiant. Yeah? Attraction, what does it do? It pulls me. Yeah, it's like a magnet. Yeah. So I have to kind of dodge that attraction so that I don't get pulled. Have you seen that little struggle that goes on between the iron filings and the magnet? Yeah. The iron filings have to just keep that much distance where the effect of the magnetic field does not reach. So it's kind of spotting with it. Yeah. If we put life into this little iron filing and give it that thing that you cannot get attracted to the magnet, you have to maintain that distance so that you remain outside its magnetic field. So you will see this little spot happening. Yeah. Where that iron filing will keep jumping just so that how much ever close the magnet comes, I have to keep that distance so that I don't fall into its magnetic trap. Yeah. So you recognize in your life, do you keep falling into this magnetic field of attraction? Repulsion also has its own magnetic field. You are drowned in repulsion. Yeah? Is this possible for you to learn to spot with things that attract you and repel you? That does not mean that you have to run away from things. I was just being very artistic about explaining it. But what I'm saying is not getting into that mindset of cravings and aversions, of raga and dvesha. And how does she do it? She gains the insight through the scriptures. Yeah? Have you made knowledge a daily dose? Or is it just when I'm not feeling good that I go hunting for my Yoga Vasistha book or hunt for that video and then put it on? Yeah? Have you noticed that even a few days of break away from knowledge brings your graph down? You feel, oh, I made the biggest mistake. You feel something is lost. I should have not done this. Right? And then you come back into knowledge. You really lose something in that gap. You lose the strength that you would have gained if you were continuous. If you had not cut off that continuity in the middle. That gives you a momentum actually. Continuity gives you a momentum. Yeah? And when you drop out of knowledge, even for a few days, even if it is just 2-3 days, 5 days, 1 week, that cut happens in that momentum. That speed with which you were going suddenly breaks down, and then you experience all this upheaval of emotions and all kinds of things happen to you. Life doesn't seem right, and then suddenly you come to knowledge. You should always wear your life jacket. After drowning into the ocean, what's the point of looking here and there? Where's my life jacket? Where's my life jacket? Doesn't make sense, right? You're almost drowning. Yeah? Why do you want to even reach that situation where you're almost breathless and sinking and not even able to take another fresh breath of oxygen? Just keep the life jacket on. How difficult is it? Yeah? Make knowledge your life jacket. Always keep it on. That's your next homework. Whatever I see with these eyes and experience with these senses, whatever I behold through my mind, I see nothing but the one truth, which is seen clearly by me within myself. Okay, we'll quickly read the next page. It is just story. There's nothing to explain there. Who's going to read it?
can read.
Yeah.
Unable to understand the queen's words, Ektaji laughed at them and said, "You are childish and ignorant, my dear, and surely you are prattling. Having abandoned something for nothing, having abandoned real substances and attained the state of nothingness, how does one shine resplendent? Even as an angry man rejects a bed, if one abandons pleasure, boasting, I delight in unenjoyed pleasures, it is not conducive to delight. When one abandons everything, pleasures, etc., and thinks he delights in emptiness, that does not make any sense. Nor does it make any sense if one thinks he is happy after having renounced clothes, food, bed, etc. I am not the body, nor am I anything else. Nothing is everything. What else are these statements but sheer prattle? I do not see what I see, and I see something else. These two are nothing but prattle. Never mind, enjoy the pleasure that are afforded to you. I shall continue to sport with you. Enjoy yourself. Vasistha continued. Having said this, the king went away from the inner apartments. Kudala thought, it is a pity that the king is unable to understand, and she continued to go about her work. Thus they continued to live for a considerable time. Though Kudala had no desires, a wish arose in her to move about in space. In order to acquire this power, she sought solitude and there exercised the vital air which has an upward tendency. There are three types of attainable goals in this world, O Rama: desirable, detestable, and ignorable. What is desirable is sought with great effort. What is detestable is abandoned. Between these two is that towards which one is indifferent. Normally, one regards that as desirable, which promotes happiness. Its opposite is considered undesirable, and one is indifferent to those which bring neither happiness nor unhappiness. However, in the case of the enlightened ones, these categories do not exist, for they look upon everything as a mere play and hence are utterly indifferent to everything seen or unseen. I shall now describe to you the method of gaining what is attainable, siddhi or psychic powers, towards which the sage of self-knowledge is indifferent, which the deluded person considers desirable, and which one who is intent on the cultivation of self-knowledge is keen to avoid.
Okay. So in this story, Ektaji does not understand Kudala and her experience. Yeah, there's really nothing to read in that. He just keeps calling it prattle. That it doesn't make sense. Prattle means it doesn't make sense. What is nothingness and how you are enjoying nothingness doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. You also have friends and family who you talk to about spirituality and they don't understand you. Yeah. It's exactly the same experience for her. But see her, she did not put him down or condemn him. She still continues to live with him happily, normally, yeah? Without abandoning somebody who does not understand it. Homework number, I don't know, whatever. Have you learned to manage being with those people who are not spiritual like you are? Have you learned to manage living life happily, amicably, peacefully with these people who are not at that level that you are? Second part of that homework, if you have not, now make an additional effort. No pushing people away. Yeah? By pushing them away, neither are you contributing to their growth, nor are you contributing to your own growth. Yeah? You should have the skill to manage everybody. Because you're so-called spiritual, spiritually evolved, big tag you have for yourself, big label. Yeah, spiritually evolved, I am something. Okay, Mr. Spiritually World, Miss Spiritually World, show us how involved you are. Yeah? And learn to manage these people who are not at your level. Yeah? Like Kulal. Yeah? And the way you think in the world, oh, this is desirable, so this gives me happiness. That is undesirable. That gives me sadness. Yeah? That is your next homework. Do you also have such things? This gives me happiness, this gives me sadness. This I'm indifferent to. Yeah? For the enlightened one or even for the wise one, doesn't matter. What is. Yeah? Nothing is happiness, nothing is sadness. It doesn't matter. It is all life. It is all reality. It is all today's truth. My flow, my today's flow. Have you come to that understanding? So, from next week, I will continue with the siddhis that Vasistha speaks about on page 293. Very interesting. He talks about Kundalini and all. So, don't miss next week's class. Yeah. Any questions? Then I'll see you next week. Huh? Jai Guru.